Well, well, well. It seems that Prince Harry believes that they want him dead. I wonder why. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I wonder why. Could it be the threat of Al Qaeda, him talking about killing 25 enemy combatants and referring to them as chess pieces? Could it be all the lies that he has said about his family? The fact that he, through him and his wife, through their lies, increased the level of risk of the rest of the entire family. Never, not even to mention the soldiers, because when he talked about killing Al Qaeda like that also brought hatred towards the soldiers that are still fighting a war and made them targets. So today I thought I have a treat. Somebody I haven't seen in a while, then that I adore. I follow him. And of course, gonna bring him over because we all love Mr. Win. I always call him Mr. Win. Um, so hello, how are you?
Good to see you. Yeah, you were the first one who said Mr. Win, and a lot of people say that now. Yeah, it's like it's stuck.
Just to protect
Yeah,
your identity, like
yeah, Mr. Win. Yeah. Well, good to see you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
oh, I heard that you're south of the border now.
Yes, yeah, I'm really enjoying it, learning a little Spanish and avoiding the cold, which is great.
And I heard you have a son now.
Oh yes, the
Can
best. He's
you be kind to show us your son?
yes, he's crunching a little bit right now, but let's.
Can you please tell us your son's name? Oh
Oh,
my
he's
goodness.
Leo.
What is his name?
Leo.
Leo. Oh, I love the name. How old is he now?
He's about 9 months, almost, maybe a little less.
Oh, what a cutie. So welcome to the family. That is amazing. That is amazing. So guys, I'm gonna put the links and I'm gonna be showing it Winning Mr. Winning Communications channel. I call him Mr. Win. And today we're gonna talk about a few things. And I was wondering, if you got to watch anything, if you've been keeping with Meghan Markle's interviews and the things that she's been saying, if you saw her show about the bath salts at all.
Yeah, I remembered the weird recipe, and particularly in terms of recently the crazy podcast she did. But yeah, I remember the bath salts. Yeah, with the guests. Oh, thanks.
So basically, you do remember that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was listening to people today talking about it, and they were saying that. By the way, that's his channel, Mr. Winning Communications. So please go subscribe, guys. Yes, I will leave the links in all the video description because he does amazing videos. Okay. So I was wondering because I heard today Kinsey Schofield talk about to a lawyer about it, and he said that the lawyer implied that Meghan Markle, at the time that she signed the contract, would have been savvy enough to place the responsibility on Netflix's shoulder in case anything happened. Because usually lower stars, there's like no, like people like you and me, for example, we are supposed to give all kinds of like disclaimers, like the one that you're seeing at the bottom and all kinds of that, right? But for
Yeah.
Megan, there were no disclaimers whatsoever. Not don't even try it at home or consult a local physician. She's not an expert because it is a fan who is suing her for $10 million.
Crazy.
What do you make of that? I mean, what did you make of her? Because I don't know if you guys know, when in communication, for those of you who are new, he looks at body language and the way people communicate. So, what did you make of her in that show? Did you make her a little bit relatable because she was trying to come across as authentic? How was her body language for her?
Super
From her?
disingenuous, fake, trying to be relatable but not. And I think it's one thing that I always felt is she's saying all the time, "Oh, I do this all the time, this recipe," and she looked a little like harried, like, "Oh, and you put this and this." It was super unnatural, right? So clearly she didn't, and that's really funny. She's like, "Oh, I make this Epsom salt thing every time for thousands of people, and then it's burning people." So she probably didn't really know anything about it.
What do you think is going to come of it? Do you think that they'll get sued or they will make this person go away?
Probably make the person go away, but you could see already they're so aggressive. Like their lawyer let out a statement like this is not your fault. Anyone with diabetes should know not to use it. The same way they attacked Dr. Sophie. Like they're super aggressive when their whole thing is like we're the victims, the world is against us. When they are so aggressive for people of less power who come at them, they just vicious as you can imagine.
That's bullying, in other words.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just describing as bullying. And it's really interesting because a chef also got a letter that he said came from Netflix, but Netflix came out and said, if you got a threatening letter, it wasn't from us. And now it's been speculated that it was Meghan Markle who faked the letter or who got somebody of a lower level to send the letter on behalf of Netflix. But for Netflix to issue that kind of denial, it's
yeah.
very interesting.
That really is. I wasn't aware of that, but goodness.
Yes, yes. There's this chef who gave an interview. I will send you the interview. So they say, "Can you please consult on this show?" But they wouldn't tell him. They just told him that the show was very divisive, so he kind of immediately knew what it was about.
Yeah,
So in the interview that he gave, a TV interview that he gave, he said, "Well, why?" The guy asked him, "Why did you do it?" And she says, "Well, because I didn't want the backlash, and then given the reputation of this person, I was worried that no matter what recommendations I give, she wouldn't follow them, and then it would look bad, and I would be blamed."
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then they asked him, "And what did you think of the show?" He said she should stick to acting because she doesn't know how to cook. You know that Harry gave that interview. Have you had a chance to watch it?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
there's a couple of things that I have to tell you have me confused. And this is why maybe you can clarify them for me. Because in one part of the interview, he states that the royal family used the security removal threat in order to stop them from leaving. And then in another part of the interview, he says that they wanted them out. So to me, it's like, which one is it? So I thought, and also, about him, I want you to tell me whether indeed he misses his family, because there's that clip there, and either he's a very better actor than Megan, or he
Yeah,
really misses the family or the life he had. So I
yeah.
thought we'd go ahead and share it.
But I've this is there are there have been so many disagreements, differences between me and some of my family. This current situation that has been ongoing for 5 years with regard to human life and safety is the sticking point. It is the only thing that's left. Of course, some members of my family will never forgive me for writing a book. Of course, they will never forgive me for lots of things. But there is. I would love reconciliation.
So uber manipulative. It's unreal. What a jerk. So the first thing he does is he says the only sticking point, and then he's saying the only sticking point is human life. So when he's saying the only sticking point, that to me sounds like he's negotiating. It just so happens then that he comes on to say he wants reconciliation. The only sticking point is to fix the case he just lost. The other thing is he says this issue of human life and safety. He uses the most extreme language, right? So whatever could victimize Meghan or Harry, they use the most extreme words. Like they say, if you're saying things you don't like that they don't like online, to Meghan, that's you're making kids lose their lives. They find the most offensive or most extreme definition. So no, this is not about human life. This is about you want government taxpayer paid security. You want the taxpayers to pay for your security. And there's no guarantee that you'll lose your life if you don't do that. Right? So again, he makes that so extreme. And then he does the exact opposite. Some of my family will never forgive me for writing a book, right? He's trying to make it sound very unreasonable. He totally minimizes what he actually did, right? If he wrote a book, like a children's book, or like he's saying book. He's not even saying biography. He could write any book. He didn't just write a book about himself. He wrote a book that was nothing but trashing his family, putting out all their business, knowing they're very private, just totally disgusting. If you're trying to reconcile with someone, you're not saying, oh, the only reason we can't reconcile is, you didn't do something I want, right? That's negotiating.
Also, he says that his father's not speaking to him. Nobody's going to speak to him, but he blames it on the security thing, on the court case, right? He doesn't take any accountability for the fact that they can't trust him to keep giving interviews.
Yes, of course they can. And he's literally doing it now. In this interview, he's purposely painting them in a horrible light. He's making it out that the family is the reason he's lost security, and he frames that issue as human life.
But his body language, what do you make of his body language?
Just seemed like a jerk. I mean, what he said really put it away, but very like petulant. Again, negotiating. It wasn't a pleading. And also his body language did not remotely resemble someone who's fearing for his life. When he's saying human life, it reminds me of when Megan said, "Thanks for asking if I'm okay."
I've never asked him to intervene. I've asked him to step out of the way and let the experts do their job. This Rabbit committee is an expert committee full of professionals, plus the royal household.
And that's such a good part to stop it, his arrogant smirk, plus the royal household, right? Really arrogant. So, again, the key is, this is his words. This is an issue of life. So remember, whenever he's talking about this issue going his way or not, he's framing it as, you're risking my life, or I'm going to literally lose my life. And now he's saying his father not only isn't intervening for him, it's his father who's doing this. So he's saying his father's threatening his life. Maybe I'll use allegedly. They love to sue people. But literally, if we look at his own words, he's saying the issue's his life and his father's intervening against it. So that's what he's saying. That then he goes, it's experts and royals. So insulting, implying they're not experts, they're intervening. Everything would go well if it weren't for them. They're bullying me, I'm a victim. Total psycho. And then his expression again. The reason I brought up Megan is just the parallels in terms of their expressions do not match the words. That is not the expression of a victim who's afraid for his life. He's very pleased with himself with saying that. Like, he's like, oh yeah, that's a good one. He's like, and the royals. Like, I can't even make the expression because it's very mean-spirited.
Yeah, it's like, why would you smirk at something like that? It's like, and the royals, it's like, I would be saying something like, I'm freaking out.
I've not seen any moment of fear. It's just mostly resentful and angry. It's so weird because he's spouting nonsense, but he still almost believes it. Like he's lying, and I think he knows he's lying, but he's still able to make himself feel like he's a victim of the highest level, right? Like, it's almost like, I think logically he knows some of his things are lies, but emotionally he still feels like he's the ultimate victim. And he just feels that he's justified in everything. Like, it was really like this nasty, like sadistic, really, expression when, where we paused it. If we look at it, it's like sadistic. Like, yeah, the royals, they're not experts. The same way he really enjoyed, right? Like, after you're saying how your family's risking your lives and, and there's royals, that's not, resigned to his fate or sad. That's like, yeah. And it was even worse right before that.
Hasn't changed. It can't change. I am who I am. I am part of what I'm part of, and I can never escape that. My circumstances will always be the same.
Oh, great point. Paula was saying, and I agree, he doesn't want to give up the status. And this gets me thinking of when he was asked about his titles, like, why don't you drop them? He's like, what good would that do? Right.
Yeah, I actually have that with Anderson Cooper, because he was asked, and she just, yeah.
It's so crazy. And yeah, he keeps that status. He didn't earn it. He wants to keep it. He's just, I think other clips will make this point better. He's so emotional. In that he wants to be important, he wants to be a victim, and the facts don't matter, right? And it's kind of crazy because giving up a title is such a small sacrifice if he really meant what he said. Like, the royals are this evil institution, they're, unconscious bias or conscious, blah, blah, blah. Harry's like, I won't even give up my titles. You know what I mean? Just to make a point, just to be like, I really mean this. It's like, no, I keep everything, like, it's ridiculous. Like, that would have been a very small, just like symbolic sacrifice, but he didn't even do that.
One of the things, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but during the entire thing, the entire interview, he gave me the impression that it was up to him to make up with the royal family. That those are his terms, that they wanted him back.
Such a good point. Absolutely, 100%. That is the entire, yeah, I didn't catch that, but the entire subtext, right? The interview is a negotiating. They want me back, do what I want, right? So again, he doesn't want to be in the family, but he wants them to do what he wants. Get me security. I want to keep titles. I want to still be a royal. It's just like unimaginable entitlement. It's unfathomable, I think, for us and anyone watching, because I don't think it's possible for anyone who's not, one, crazy, and then also happen to be born a prince to have that level of entitlement, right? Like, I think you have to be naturally crazy. Like, it's like Caligula or something, like one of the crazy Roman emperors, right? Like, they're crazy and they're born into something. It's just unreal. Like,
again, I'm not sure how much I can say, but I can never leave the royal family. Yeah, that is my family. That is my larger family. I left the institution because at the end of the day I had to. I didn't leave it in 2020. I left it in 2021. But security was removed in 2020.
Speaking of your family, your father is ill with cancer. Will you continue to visit him alone without the family? Where does this leave things moving forward, the ability of your children to see their grandfather?
Life is a precious thing, and I'm acutely aware of the fragility of that. I can only come to the UK safely if I'm invited.
Well, negotiating, right? So he's talking about his father having cancer. He gives a smile. Like, literally, a way I could interpret that is life's
Terrorist.
Right? Yeah.
Terrorist.
Yeah. Literally, the way I can interpret that is, if you want to see your grandkids before you die, you better get me what I want. That's like a terror. Yeah, literally, that's basically what he said. It's like a negotiation. It's a negotiation. It's like a kidnapping. Like, if you want to see me, you got to do what I want. If you want to see your grandkids, you got to do what I want. It's really evil, really shocking. Like, I can't imagine to say that, I think he's got like no humanity left towards his father. I mean, to be talking about your father having cancer and have a little smirk on your face and be like, well, they need to pay for it if they want to see
And not only that life is precious.
It's funny, like, when you pause this, right? Look at this. This is paused when he's talking about his father having cancer and if he's going to see his father and his grandkids are. Is that an expression in line with the topic, right? That's the, like, right? It's an arrogant, it's like a supervillain who's doing like negotiation and who feels like they're like, it's crazy.
It is a family dispute. And it makes me really, really sad that we're sitting here today, 5 years later, where a decision that was made, most likely, in fact, I know, to keep us under the roof. But then once they realized that wasn't going to work, once they realized that, myself, my wife, and our kids are happier outside of the institution.
He's such a baby. So let's pretend, even if he's, first of all, that is BS, right? Obviously, because at other times they wanted us gone. We had to leave, blah, 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 as you were saying. But the other thing is like just the spoiled. It's like you're leaving. No, you don't get security as a working royal, part of the royal family, when you're leaving. Like it's just like it's like if I was like, oh, I hate my dad, I'm never gonna talk to him again. I hate him. Oh, he cut me off. How dare you cut me off? It's literally just like that, right? The stereotype of the stupid rich brat who hates their family but expects them to give them everything and pay for everything. And if they get cut off the smallest thing, they get even more infuriated. It's just that to like times a million, I think. Or at the best, and at the worst, that's like if we took him at his word, but his word is nonsense. It's even worse because it's not even like true.
To forgive, and what I will probably always struggle to forgive, is that a decision that was made in 2020 that affects my every single day, and that is knowingly putting me and my family in harm's way. Everybody knew that they were putting us at risk in 2020, and they hoped that me knowing that risk would force us to come back.
He just explicitly said what he was implying. He didn't even imply it. He explicitly said it. So that is not, I want reconciliation. If that was all he did, right? Not the book, nothing else. I think that's grounds for the family to never talk to him again. Just that. Just going on TV and saying they put my life at risk, dragging them through the mud like that, that's already enough to never talk to him again.
Now, one of the things that is very interesting for me is that he says that he still can't believe that a decision that was taken in 2020 would have such consequences that put his family at risk every day. He distances himself because he doesn't want to say, I can't believe that a decision I took
Yeah, very good
a
point.
lot of chaos. He distances because it's a decision that was made.
Yeah.
Who was it made by?
That's
What do
right.
you make of that he distances himself from that decision?
Well, he's neither him nor Megan have ever admitted to making a mistake. You cannot find, correct me if I'm wrong, or people can comment, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you could find a example of either of them admitting anything is their fault. Ever.
The only thing he said is that he thinks that they won't forgive him, which is the clip that we played earlier. That
For writing
he
the
is
book.
aware, but he's not asking for it to be sorry because he said in that interview he doesn't regret it because they needed to hear the other side of the story.
Yeah, and all exactly. So he's saying he'll never be forgiven, but he's not saying he made a mistake. He's trying to frame them as petty. He's like, they won't forgive me for writing a book. He's not saying I shouldn't have written a book. He's trying to frame it as just being more of a victim, I think. So he's just a jerk. I don't even know what else to say. It's just absolutely unimaginable. And one thing too is just it's taxpayer money too. Like he just thinks he could say like, "Hey, people of the UK, you have to pay for things I want." Like, what about the people, right? Don't you believe in like people are equal? It's like, no, dude. Like, if I was in the UK, I'd be real mad if I had to pay for his security.
Whatever stories have been written, this has always been the sticking point. And put yourself in my shoes. If you step back to try to create a different role, the same official role, but a different working relationship with the institution that you were born into for the sake of your wife and your own mental health and your child, which now, of course, a lot more has come out because I felt as though it needed to come out. The other side of the story needed to be told. God forbid anything should happen. And I don't regret that at all. But 2020, when that decision happened, I couldn't believe it. I actually couldn't believe it. I thought with all the disagreements and all of the chaos that's happening, the one thing that I could rely on is my family keeping me safe.
Look at what he's talking. He's saying that he didn't want to leave because he just wanted to create a role within the family. We know that for the past few years, they've been saying that they couldn't wait to leave, that they're happy they left. And now he's saying that because the royal family didn't give him the role they wanted inside the royal family, then they had to leave. Now, but he justifies it. I mean, give me your take on this, please. I
Just
don't know what to say about this idiot.
mean, it just, again, the uber entitlement. The body language is all just, what is it, like petulant, resentful, spoiled, very spoiled. Like, I can't believe I thought they'd keep me safe. So again, he does the maximizing the slights against him, minimizing against others. And, I think that's the worst kind of person. There's people who are insensitive. They're not very sensitive. But, like, you might hang out with some people, they're gruff and they'll insult you, but they're joking, but they insult each other back, right? Maybe like truck drivers or something. And then there's people, yeah, and then there's people who are really sensitive, who they might get sensitive, but then they're also like really careful with what they say. They might be anxious. But they have someone who's ultra sensitive about themselves and ultra insensitive to other people. That's the nastiest kind of person, right? So everything they don't want to keep me safe. They're risking my life. Oh, I just wrote a book. I had to tell the other side of the story. No, it was crybaby. I think the South Park WAG, it was complaining, it was griping, it was trashing them. It was not for the good of the world. It was all for him. The other thing too, like you're saying, is they consult the royals. Is this person working? This is the country. He wants the royal family. It's like Meghan, she thought she was going to be a princess, to be like kings and queens from hundreds of years ago. This is not your money. This is taxpayer money. This is not even your father's money, right? So he wants, like, the king needs to do what for me. Like, to me, it's like he thinks that he was born into a family of gods, but he hates them, but he should still be a god. His family are gods who can do anything. They can just control the security, whether he gets it or not. It just shows, like, the level of power he thinks he and his family had. It's really interesting that he hates his family, but he's still, like, he just was born into the idea that my family do anything, can control everything for me, and they always will, no matter what I do.
Because they
So
did, though.
they
In
did. Yeah.
this respect, and people hate me when I say this, I don't blame him, because him and Meghan Markle were both raised that they could do no wrong. And the Buckingham Palace used to cover up the most amazing, disgusting things that he would do. So he
Yeah.
is used to them looking out for him. So for
Yeah.
him, this is a shock that this is the first
Yeah.
time that they are not coming through for him. And he doesn't like the way it feels.
No. And the thing is, they still did, right? Didn't they move to California with money? Weren't they? They were still getting allowances.
Charles gave him £4 million for the first year, plus he paid for their security, and they were hoping that they were going to come back after a year. They were
Yeah,
going to think
that
things
was
through.
a huge mistake, because you can see, just nothing you can do for them is enough. And I do agree that is the issue with both of them. They've been nasty people, just spoiled, and it didn't matter how badly they treated their family, or how badly they messed up. They never faced the consequences.
So it would be nice to have that reconciliation part now. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
And now that this court battle is over, do you feel you will be able to approach your father and speak about some of those issues?
I mean, no, I don't think he would ever want to talk about it. I think he would just push it aside, and the argument will continue to be this is a government decision. It may well be a government decision, but how did they reach that decision? When the Ravitch, the first place that they went to was the palace.
He's like, isn't that such a crazy spoiled brat? Like, they said it's the courts, but they need to control the courts for me. Again, he wants them to be like, kings and queens from 500 years ago. Like, they need to say the taxpayer money has to go to my security and my ego. And this is him who's completely trashed them and completely estranged himself. It's so crazy. Like, this, if they were on great terms, this would be unbelievably spoiled. If this were in private, but to do it publicly is insane. And when he's trashed them, I can't even fathom it. on that note, I think it shows a big point. He's never seeming fearful. It's just ego. It's like I think it might have been Nigeria where they had like a whole military and there was no one there. They want to walk in with all the security, like I'm important. He wants,
He inspected the military, which is only allowed for monarchs of heads of state. They
yeah,
called them their royal highnesses. Meghan was just caught using her
yeah,
royal highness, and doesn't hinge women from the view. So what's wrong? And these are some of the women. Whoopi Goldberg, who has trashed the royal family as colonialist, she's
yeah,
advocating and angry that Meghan, people are calling Meghan Markle out. Instead of the right question would be, why are you still using a colonialist title,
yeah,
Meghan?
exactly, right? Yeah, exactly. Those two things don't match up. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
It's insane. It's insane. Well, I want to thank you for coming, and we're going to keep talking. We're going to keep talking all the time. Please do subscribe to his channel, guys. He is amazing, and he has
yeah,
the funniest things, and you're going to be seeing him in other channels soon.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So thank you for coming, sweetie, and we'll be in touch, and hopefully you can come back soon.
Yeah.
And then please go subscribe to his channel, and thank you for the wonderful communication.
Thank